Welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. And in tonight's episode, your primos are back, because due to some technical difficulties, your boys were out of the game. But no worries, because we jump right back into SmackDown from Riyadh. Then we dive into Night of Champions, we go over the fallout of Monday Night Raw, and then we're back at it from this last week's SmackDown. So, como siempre, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on. What's up, Primo?
Hey, brother, you know me. I'm just having a wonderful time. It's been a while since you and I have actually been able to do this. So it's A, nice to see your shining face. B, hear your lovely voice.
Yeah.
And D, get into a whole bunch of things that
lot.
we have missed and have not been able to. And for people who say we didn't want to be a recap episode, I feel like the jonesing that I've had to get on this microphone and chat about what's going on is real. But it's great to see you, man. I love you. It's good to see you. Let's do this, man. I'm excited. I'm like,
yeah, bro.
I'm smiling.
I'm definitely happy to see you too, man. You're right. Due to some technical difficulties, we got a little delayed. But hey, even the big boys get delayed, right? Because if you saw on that Friday Night SmackDown with that Cody segment, there were some technical difficulties in Riyadh as well. So it happens to the best of us, you know?
Listen, man. Plus, people take vacations and stuff like that. You say, we were gone for like a week and change, but we're gonna, here's what we're gonna do, everybody. We're gonna get to you from 2 SmackDowns ago, the PLE or PPV, and Night of Champions, Monday Night Raw, and then SmackDown from the latest episode from Pittsburgh. I believe it's Raw was from Pittsburgh as well. But we're going to try and bang through all that without trying to burden too much of people's time. So with that, I'm going to throw it to my primo, El Niño, Eduardo. Let's see what we got. Talk to me, man. Dígame.
Well, based on what you just said, there's 2 things that I just want to call out. Maybe 3 things from SmackDown.
I got to throw back to my SmackDown notes. It's a couple pages ago.
Oh,
go ahead.
No, there's a couple of things that I want to touch on. And the first and most important thing to me from that night was Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega losing that U.S. championship belt. Now, don't get it twisted. Super happy that it went to somebody like Julia, because we've been saying since she's been in NXT and in the roster and all that stuff that they have, major plans for her. So,
right.
Good to see that she's the one next in line to get this belt. But also at the same time, it's a little, it hurts me, maybe us, right, at this point, because, based on what happened at Saturday night's main event and then everything that led up to this point, it almost felt like there were little mishaps here and there. Maybe they were losing a little bit of faith in her, that kind of thing. Well, I try not to think that way, but it's like, maybe they were just like, okay.
It's hard not to. It's hard not to. But I mean, unfortunately, that's the way of the thinking. But I mean, that could go with unfortunately anybody who's not, Seth freaking Rollins or CM Punk or anything. If you're not top tier talent, if there's one miscue somewhere or something like that, they'll kind of move it to you quick, because they got to see who can be moved up to that top tier talent. And I agree with you. I don't want to think like that either. It's kind of always, sneaks into the back of your mind, because let's be realistic, this society's, fucking terrible sometimes. So racism does exist, things like that. There's favoritism, things along those lines, nepotism. There's all kinds of isms. So, but you hope that that's not the case. So I'm gonna speak from the side that it's not the case. Just to not be angry. Mean, put it mildly. I think Julia's the right pick. For what you said, I think this is a chance to give her a chance to shine a little bit, see what she can do on the main roster. She's cut some good promos since. Once again, I love that Hunter's letting her speak in Japanese and letting a lot of the foreign talent use their natural voices. I think it's awesome. Kind of annoyed, because I do love Zelina Vega. I do. I love Zelina Vega. But I'm a big fan of Julia too. So I'm while annoyed, but once again, I'm coming from the place that this isn't that. Julia was the move. Zelina had a nice little run with it. Maybe you can. I mean, I don't see any kind of a feud here. because now she's just cutting promos and Zelina's been kind of like missing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to feud it out or whatever, but we'll see when Zelina comes back, what they do with her and how it happens moving forward.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm definitely looking forward to see what happens next with that. Hopefully they implement the rematch clause, because you know how finicky they are with that.
Oh my
but
God, the
all good.
rematch clause. I know you love the rematch clause that doesn't exist and then does exist and then it does exist and then it doesn't exist and then wait a second. Does it though?
Right. But then the second call out of the night, which was really amazing, Rey Fenix and Andrade match of the night versus DIY.
Oh man.
Talk about all gas, no brakes, bro. Those guys were wild.
This man, this is oh my gosh, this was so fantastic. I mean, it was just amazing. Talk about athletes in the purest form of just, physically running around, jumping around, throwing your body, flipping. My God, it was absolutely unbelievable. It's frustrating to me that it has to happen in a tag match where you have to use Andrade and Phoenix in a tag match. It's frustrating because both of these guys on their own can do things. They can carry their Andrade's proven it. He's been the NXT champ. Give this man a chance. He can do it. And if it doesn't work, you pull it off him. You did it to Kofi. You did it to Jey Uso one time already. Come on, man. I'm annoyed at that. But what a match. Fantastic. Glad to see Andrade and Phoenix get the win there. Big things coming for them, I think, especially with SmackDown tag team turmoil that exists.
Another tag team to add to the list.
I literally wrote my notes for yesterday's SmackDown, tag team turmoil again.
Again.
So, but no, hell of a match. Absolutely fantastic. So,
yeah,
and like I said, and Andrade and Phoenix are both. I love both of them, and the match against Fraxium that we're going to talk about later. I think these two are as a toss up. But once again, great match, and kudos to Andrade and Phoenix. Hopefully, this pushes them either as a tag or maybe they start to get their shine a little bit separately. We'll see. But that was the other thing. Those are the two things from that SmackDown that I was pretty much stuck on, with the exception of you said before, the Punk Cena promo.
Yeah,
where Punk came out rapping and just was I don't like cringing, man. When a cringe moment happens, if I loved it. If I'm by the remote, I'll turn it because I'll be like, or I'll mute it. I'll be like, okay, I can't. It was the idea of it was fantastic. The idea of it was absolutely fantastic. Some of the stuff that was coming out of his mouth was just terrible. I was like, what are you saying here? There's so many better ways to bring this. Who wrote this? You have writers. You have fucking Cena himself. You have the man himself who released the CD. And he's coming, and Punk was coming with that. I was like, I wanted to like it a lot more than I did. It was just something they said.
Well, the one thing that I will say about it, and then we'll move on to Night of Champions. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I do feel like it was over the top on purpose, with the Jordan and the Carolina Jordan 1s, on his feet with the jersey and the Punk on the side and the chain.
Right.
And then the horrific lyrics that were coming out of this man's mouth. But that's what it was. When Dr. Thugonomics John Cena was around, a lot of it was kind of corny. You know what I mean? Some of it was hard. Some of it was like, oh, but 90% of the time it was corny. So
Some of it was hard.
Maybe 1% was hard, bro.
I got you. Yeah. No, yeah. I wanted to like it a lot more, but I was like, if he tied a couple things up tighter, it would have been more like, okay, oh, all right, nice. All right, let's go. Now she's gonna be pissed. So. But yeah, it was fun. I wanted to like it a lot more than I did, but I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, man, for sure. But all right, man, let's jump into Night of Champions because that pretty much wraps up SmackDown. There was a bunch of other things, closing stories and this and that leading into Night of Champions, as well as the following SmackDown. So nothing else that we need to jump in for that one.
No, but at that point, just highlight.
Right, Night of Champions. So first match of the evening, which I was surprised it was Cody versus Randy, and
yeah, that was, first of all, the opening segment that they had, I enjoyed, because I even wrote that opening segment, big smiley face next to it. But yeah, Cody versus Orton, I said, it ended kind of weird.
Yeah.
It ended kind of weird. I felt like Randy kind of took a beat shot here. I understand the turnbuckle aspect. He removed it himself. And so gets hit into it, whatever. But him having to take a second to think about whether he's going to punt him or not. And then I was like, okay, like, get it. Cody took advantage where Orton didn't. And your king of the ring is one Codith Rhodes.
Codith, yeah. Yeah, overall solid match. I enjoyed it too. I agree with you towards the end. This whole, hesitation angle in the match was like a little unnecessary. Like, you can't sit there and say Randy make a big fuss about, oh, I need to win it because it's redemption and da-da-da-da-da. Well, if you're going to win, then win. Don't sit there and punk out at the last second, dude. A fight's a fight. You know what I mean? Like, because he's not going to hold back. You know what I mean? So overall, though, decent match. I was okay with it.
It ended the way I was expecting it to too. I mean, assuming here we go. You and I both had Cody as the proper pick, but not the fun pick, but the proper pick.
Yeah. So not too mad at it. Not too mad at it. Now, what was the second match of the night? Because
I got Braxton interview somewhere. Then we got a commercial for Crown Jewel at Perth.
At Perth, yeah.
Rhea versus Raquel. Both in leather head to toe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So let me jump into this one.
Please.
So I enjoyed the match a lot because I felt like Raquel looked very impressive. But again, it goes back to our conversation. Now she's fighting somebody that's just as big as her, just as tall as her. So the awkwardness wasn't really there. Everything was spot on in that match. They both did a fantastic job. I think my only gripe, and I understand because it is Riyadh and it is Saudi Arabia, it's like all three of them had, because Roxanne Perez ends up coming out in the match as well, with the all black leather. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Some of it had like slightly different colored trim, but it wasn't that loud where it's like you can't tell. If you were, like squinting, you couldn't tell who was who on the screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about two women who are very tall, very big, and both have long black hair.
Yeah.
You put them both in black outfits, head to neck, like you're head to neck, foot to neck. Like you're gonna get confused at some point. Head to neck. Like it's gonna be rough. I think one of them could have been, you put one of them in a purple. Put Rhea Ripley in a purple. Put them in a darker red or something like that. Whatever. But I thought it was both. They both had the kind of the same outfit. And it was like,
okay, it was like Undertaker versus Undertaker that one time.
Yeah. I don't need to relive that one. I do have that the riptide from the top rope was dope.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was a great move. But then you and I were both wrong here because we both went Raquel and they gave it to Rhea Ripley, which once again, I don't think she needed it where Raquel did. I think this would have been a big one for Raquel. And I think it's a shame because she's half your tag champs. Like, she's half your tag champ. So you have some semblance of faith in her, correct?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, I doubt Rhea would be like, I don't want to put her over. Doesn't seem like that's something that today's wrestlers really do, but I mean, who knows?
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was gonna go to Raquel Rodriguez. I was kind of a little bummed about this one, and I like Rhea Ripley, but I was bummed. I was like, oh man, like, nah, no, like,
yeah, no, I agree with that. And then I think the other part that kind of made me mad about it, because you see it at the beginning when when Rhea's coming out, they do the match details, like the little facts, and they say like she's up 4-1, on one-on-ones against Raquel. Yeah. So I was like, even more reason to be like, oh, okay, so Raquel's definitely going to win because now that'll put him at 4-2. And it's like, no, now she's 5-1. So it's like, okay, what was the point?
This is just a drubbing. This is unnecessary. Like, didn't think so. But so after that, we move on to the other scratching my head moment of this PLE is Sami Zayn carrying Cross.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why? I didn't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense. You've done all of this build up to have this puppet master, and he finally gets him into the ring, and it's the first time Cross has been in the ring in however long, and Sami Zayn comes out winning. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. So here are my thoughts, right? I absolutely agree with you on that. Why? What was the point, right? For having Sami to get the win, But then, to be honest with you, I think we built this up. I mean, I know I did. I mean, I say we, but I have built this up in my head to be like one of the greatest matches. And I don't know, man. Carrion was like slow. I know he's a big dude. There's a lot more weight on him, and it's like, but he was moving real slow, and I was like, oh, dude, this is not what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Maybe I think he's not as good as an athlete as we've given him credit for, which might be why he hasn't been in the ring for quite some time.
I don't want to say that.
I mean, but if you're noticing it, and you don't want to say it,
yeah,
but you're noticing it, and that's the thing
sure.
is because, like, once again, trying not to read the quote unquote dirt sheets or whatever, but you see things online because we have a wrestling podcast, so everyone is listening. So my phone is constantly throwing wrestling stories in my face.
Yeah.
So it's there's one that I saw that was like Cross doesn't take certain bumps or whatever or something like that, where I'm like, well, then this is probably why they're not using him.
Yeah.
And if this is partially true, once again, who can you believe? To be honest, it's not like this is a reputable source, or not. Not that it's not a reputable source, but it's not coming from Hunter himself. So who can you really believe? So yeah, sorry, I'm gonna let you go back to what you were saying.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And then my final thought on this match, and you could set us up for the next match, is the one thing that I will say is I am happy with what happened between them on Monday, because I really hope that this isn't the last time. I hope we get a better version of this later down the road. So
it shouldn't be, but it's kind of tough because, and we'll talk about it when we get into it later. But Zayn is torn in two different directions right now because he's got the Cross thing, and then he was involved with Penta and what happened at the end of Raw, which we'll get to when we get to it. But we can move on to the United States champion. No, did I say champion? Yeah,
right. And then
Solo versus Jacob.
Yep.
And hey, man, I mean, we both called it like Fatu would win, but the cool move is if Solo did it, and we both said fucking Hikuleo or Tala Tonga as he's now.
There's Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Tala
Tonga. There's Tama and Tala Tonga. Tama Tonga is the one who's still hurt.
Yeah.
Tonga Loa came back in this match, which I was like, oh, and I read that somewhere too, where he was coming back. I was like, okay, yeah, he's been knocked out. They said like his bicep or his pec or something like that. But yeah, he came back, and then you had this other, the debut of this behemoth of a man, in Tala Tonga. That was it. It was good, and it was a good way to pull the belt off of Fatu without making him look like he took a clear L without it having to be help. So
which I'm calling right now. It's setting up for Bloodline War Games 3.0, the new versus the old. I mean, it's got to go that way, right? I mean,
you would figure they would drive this car in that direction. We'll see. I mean, but because once again, if you're going old versus who are you going to put in? Because Jay's busy now. Because once we'll get into on Raw, it's just a lot of stuff. Next match was the Queen of the Ring.
Yes,
one Jade Cargill versus Asuka. Sloppy finish. Sloppy finish. But your winner and Queen of the Ring is Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Match itself was, I think, is what I have written down. Sorry, literally. So, like we said, the right person won, because now you can build off of this. You have to work with her on some things, obviously, because I mean, Asuka's good, but that match just seemed a little rough around the edges, compared to everything else. So,
I mean, I agree, and I think the one thing that the problem with social media is like it makes you think one narrative and you kind of roll with that, and then you just assume that this is the case, and I hope that this isn't the case, but it seems like Jade needs to be, in the training center a little bit, longer, just, really zoning in on her craft, because all the pictures I see of her is like she's, across the world with the hubby, and good for them, who wouldn't want to do stuff like that. But my thing is like, if you're trying to be in the top spot and take somebody else's spot, you got to really show why you deserve to be there, not just be a look. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a looker, So
there's got to be something to back it up. You have to be able to back it up in the ring. And there's been a couple areas where it seems it's been sloppy. And once again, we're fans, and we're not trying to disrespect anybody and anything they do. But we have a podcast where we give our opinions, and these are our opinions. It just seems like she could definitely clean some stuff up. Oh yeah. And on that note, we'll get right to the end, which was John Cena and one Christopher Matheson Punk.
Yeah. I'll jump into this one. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It might have been, unfortunately, the most entertaining match of the night because they did good with each other, especially at this stage of their career, because they're both older. I think for factoring those pieces in, I feel like it was a good match. It was definitely a solid match. And then a lot of chaos happened at the end, and that was pretty awesome too. And that's all comes with the entertainment, and I was happy with it. So I think that might be the best match of the night for me, which is not saying a lot.
No, I'm agreeing with you 100%. This is the stuff at the end is what made the entire PLE.
Yep.
Because other than that, you knew Cody was winning. Pretty sure Jade was winning. Now, you had the solo thing and the Hikuleo thing. Great. Fantastic. Zayn Cross, once again, just still had me baffled. So I agree with you. This was the match of the night, but it was because of all the shenanigans at the end. And I'm sure, hopefully, anyone who listens to wrestling has caught up already. Yeah. But, was the entrance of Seth freaking Rollins and crew. And I was like, ooh,
twist.
This is going to be fun. And then to have Cena stop, the ref from coming down after, CM Punk's been dismantled and things like that.
Boom.
And then Penta comes down, and then Sammy comes in. It's chicanery and tomfoolery. Oh, wait, no, was it Sammy coming in? I don't think Sammy came in. But Penta just came in. I think Sammy came out.
I believe he did too.
Yeah. Sammy came out. Penta came out. And then it was cleared everything out until Seth freaking Rollins stomps CM Punk.
Yeah.
And and then Cena tosses him out the ring and pins it for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still champ, John Cena.
And then what the funny thing about it too is when I saw, internet trolls, man, it's amazing. And it's like, John Cena is getting his butt kicked and Penta's just taking his time down the ramp and he's doing his little walk.
Yeah,
it's like, it's so good.
Cena's like, help me. And he's like, he's strolling down like, like, all right, man, at some point you may want to get a little pep in your step, my man. No, that was great. That was absolutely hysterical. So overall, the thing is right now there's a lot of stuff being thrown because there's Saturday Night's main event, there's Evolution, there's this, there's that. It seems there's a lot of things that are just going to be like coming in. So it almost feels like some of these matches end up like could have been a Raw, could have been a SmackDown.
Yeah,
could have
agreed.
been, stuff like that. So 7-5 because of the end match. 7, 5, 7, something in that area.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I give it a 7 as well, man. I think for me, and then we can move on to Raw. Is I two things, right? One, how could you call a PLE Night of Champions and only defend 2 titles? So that's one.
They should have called it find a better way to put King Queen of the Ring kind of there,
right?
Because those are, that
was really the focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's that, and then 2, I agree. Like for the main event, that wasn't the best match to be the most entertaining match, and the rest kind of fell short. Right. I agree with you. I think it's because there's just so many things being thrown at us that it's like we have to move on to the next thing. We have to move on to the next thing. And you see that on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and the ones that we're going to discuss. But it's just like, okay, guys, slow down. Let us enjoy a little bit of the storylines. Let us, marinate in it. Like, let's figure it out. Let's keep guessing. But you're right. I mean, at this point, I'm going to be honest. I'm more interested in watching All In on Saturday rather than Saturday night's main event because I am not intrigued right now.
Well, I mean, they set up a couple of matches for Saturday night's main event coming up on the SmackDown and the Raw, but it's PLE. It's a pay-per-view. It's going to be, but because we have so many back to back, and now we have Evolution coming up this week, right? I believe Evolution this week. The following week is Saturday night's main event. It's a lot. So. Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah.
All right. On that note, let's jump into Monday Night Raw, straight out of Pittsburgh, right? It was Pittsburgh?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm just going to, again, we're not going to go through the whole, for our listeners, we're not going to go through the whole episode. I'm just going to, go over the notes that I jotted down and then we'll just discuss. All right.
Yep.
So the first thing I wrote, Rusev versus Sheamus, banger match of the night. I enjoyed that match so much. Yeah, bro. Because it was such a throwback to a classic. You had 2, brute of men and just like, bam, just clobbering each other and just going back and forth. Like it was I think it was awesomely done. I was really happy with it. But you know, same argument with the Gunther thing. It's like I like that style of wrestling. Yeah, I love the high flying. I like the cool stuff too. But there's just something about like that purest form of wrestling that those two brought to the ring. I enjoyed it a lot. My favorite match of the night.
Well, you're also a Rusev guy, so
yeah,
you're a big Rusev guy. You've always been, so that makes sense. But yeah, no, I mean it was a good match. I would probably go Judgment Day, New Day.
Yeah, well, I think I didn't like that much match because I didn't like the way it turned out. I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect it either. I think it's a shit deal for the New Day. I think that they weren't properly used as the heels that they are, unless they plan on doing something with this. Real fast. Like they have to have them come back at them hard, especially because you've been sitting there with them talking shit the whole time, like, oh, we're waiting for the best of the best. And then they lose it, like when they face someone who's not American made or the War Raiders or Viking Experience or whatever the hell they are now. Like it was
you sound so disgruntled with the product right now.
Well, because it doesn't, like, it didn't make any sense. Like you could have rode Kofi and Xavier so much longer with these heel personas that they have now. And you had them standing in the back and Xavier's dressed like, those straight like a pimp out the fucking 70s and stuff. And like, you had so many cool things that you were doing. And the lasting effects from here is what? They're running Grayson Waller now. This is what I'm looking at. Like, I thought that was, the match itself was great, which is what I'm saying. Match of the night for me was that. But I agree with you. I mean, the ending was terrible because I just thought it was a waste of the New Day, their talent, and unless you start doing a good feud, but then what? Judgment Day is your faces, because if they were on the face side of the ring, like they were over on the top left, like that's where they were. Like it's that I didn't care for, but the match I think was spectacularly done because those four are just great.
Oh yeah, no, definitely a good watch. A couple other things that I wrote down in my notes was El Grande Americano. I was like, no.
El German Americano, maybe.
Nah, bro.
Fucking Ludwig Kaiser. Now you know why he was standing in the back rubbing his chin when he saw Gable Dodge. Now I get to be a Grande Americano. Douche nozzle.
Wow. All I know is I'm happy to see that, El Grande Americano is still around. So that's all I will say about that.
He just grew like 9 inches. There's a lot more slender. Like that was entertaining. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, well, hey man, everybody needs a gimmick. Like, let's go Ludwig Kaiser. Come on.
Yeah. And then we get a quick attack on Sammy with the Karrion Cross. I wrote that down as well. I'm just glad to see that it isn't over. I want to see more of this. I really hope they redeem themselves from Night of Champions. But yeah, man, I was happy to see that attack because it looked vicious. He was like, say it. Bah, bah, bah. And I was like, yes, awesome. Love it.
That was great. The only other thing that I have from before that, any of that, because we were almost already halfway through Raw, if not almost done with it, is the opening was Rhea Ripley opens. Io Sky came out and said she gets to pick her opponent for Evolution, and she's going Rhea Ripley
because she wants to pick the best.
She wants, right. So just want to shout that out because that's going to be happening at Evolution, and that Io's my girl. So that's it. And then there was the Gunther promo on Goldberg. I mean, it was Gunther. You like Gunther?
No. I like the promo. I just want this match to be over. I'm done with it.
Well, but the good thing is that that's Rollins comes out.
That was good.
Yeah, he's like, champ, like like it's like, remember, I still got this, which means I can be champ. It's like, so once again, congratulations, champ. Like, all right, we get it. But great, let's do it. Let's do it. I want to see. I hate both of these fools. So let's throw them in a pot and see which one I can hate even more. And then Punk hits the ring because he's still pissed at Seth for costing him the championship. Rollins runs through the crowd to exit the stadium,
and then
that's it. La noche.
But again, it's just too much happening. It's like, dude, guys, slow down. Like, everybody's beefing with everybody now. It's like
so many storylines.
What are we doing? I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Well, Seth Rollins is involved in everything.
And you know what? And here's a good call out, right? I think one of my biggest problems with AEW storytelling was that it felt like that. It felt like it was all over the place. Like 1 week Swerve was punching Ospreay, and now they're tagging, and it's just, what are we doing? And then I feel like, and then the Death Riders every week, it's like, it's always a brawl. And I feel like this felt like that. And I was like, okay, guys, we're getting a little crazy. I know we got 20 PLEs coming this weekend, but chill. Okay.
Right. Yeah, no. It's a lot, but they're setting stuff up. Knight was gonna go after Rollins eventually.
Yeah.
You knew it was gonna happen. So let's get it done at Saturday night's main event so we can kind of get ready for what has to happen at SummerSlam. Got to clean a lot of things up so we can get everything set for SummerSlam because that's the big one.
Yeah.
So, which now you have Cena and Rhodes, and you have Stratton and Jade Cargill. Definitely be happening because they are the king and the queen of the ring. Judgment Day Clubhouse nonsense. You find out you get Noche versus Rollins at Saturday's main event. Yep. And then the main event is Penta and Sammy versus
Bron y Broncito.
Yeah, Bron Broncito. And then so it was that was a good match.
It was a good match.
The expected outcome, of course, is Bronson and Broncito and Bronathan and whatever we're naming them this week came out with the win, and they were about to take Sami Zayn out, whose ribs were all messed up because Karrion Kross, upset with the loss that he took and very well should have been, hit him with a pipe. And then I'm sitting there, and I don't really pay too much attention to a lot of things, but I did notice from what I saw, Sami Zayn took the shot to the left side of his ribs. And then when I saw the other day, like on Monday, they were taping up the right side. He was favoring that shit. And I was like, my man.
But they always do that, even though like legs and knees. It's like 1 minute's left and it's like, oh, my right. And it's like,
oh man, no. Come on. But yeah, no. So they were about to start working him over, but he was about to get the tsunami love from Broncito when Jey Uso comes out. That's right. When Jey Uso comes out, chair in hand, the great equalizer. And just starts clearing the ring, and then you're left with Jay, Penta, and Sammy all standing in the ring. So maybe a 3-on-3 somewhere. But
yeah,
Seth's going, is fighting La Noche. So who knows? But Jey Uso's now involved in this. So once again, with Bloodline and who knows what, so many things that have to be cleaned up. So once again, we'll see. And that was pretty much that was pretty much it for Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, for the quick recap that we're doing, I'm assuming that most of our fans have already gotten through this, and they're listening out of loyalty and
just kind of like
just like a refresh, exactly. So yeah. So that being said, we can move on to SmackDown. Also, from
but wait,
Pittsburgh.
before we move on to SmackDown, real quick, just AEW call outs. Adam Page calls Moxley out for a Texas death match for All In.
What's up with that haircut?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
He looks like a 7-year-old girl.
I don't know, bro. But definitely looking forward to the match. I'm actually really excited for Mercedes versus Toni Storm. That buildup has been fantastic. So definitely going to tune in for that.
Come on, Toni Storm. Come on, Timeless. Be timeless.
Yeah, man. They're doing a great job. And then match of the night was the Bucks and Takeshita versus Paragon and Bandito. Great match. Bandito's the man. Overall, great episode. So definitely, based on that episode, I'm more excited, like I told you, about All In than Saturday night's main event. Okay, now we could jump into SmackDown.
Okay, man. Okay. All right.
Actually, wait a minute. Let me take the wheel on this one because I wrote 5 notes, and then you fill in the rest.
I literally have like 10.
All right, check it. Ready? SmackDown. Welcome back, Drew. Very happy to see him. That's one. Right. Number 2, I really do hope that Tiffany Stratton loses. Like, I'm just over her already. So when she comes out, I see her. I'm just like, all right, I'm done with this. Lose, please. Done.
Wow.
Right. Next, solo promo. I loved it. The Happy Birthday America promo.
That was good.
Really good. Really awesome. Really good build-up.
That was good.
The next call out would be the match of the night for this episode. 2 for 2, Andrade and Rey and versus Fraxium. Amazing. Amazing.
Sick, man. Sick. This was awesome, man, because 3 amazing luchadors and Nathan Frazier is just awesome.
But they said it. They said it right there. They were like, he's the British answer to a luchador. And I agree. That's a very fair statement.
He's Fraxium, like I a little bit about him in NXT because I'm not a huge NXT guy. But I'm quite impressed with these two, man. These guys are great. And then, that was definitely the match of the night once again. And another reason that I think they're going to start pushing these two as a team. But I mean, Phoenix and Andrade, great. Put gold on them as a tag champs. So give them some kind of gold. These guys deserve it. They're great. So yeah, so that's the nice. So what else do you have?
That's it. I mean, and I
just
really interested to see where this bloodline storyline goes, which we touched on earlier. It's got to be the War Games, but yeah, man, that's all I got for that.
So yeah, well, yeah, I had Cody opens with Randy Orton comes out. They start arguing. That's where McIntyre comes in. McIntyre gets RKO'd. We're getting a McIntyre Orton right somewhere.
I think that's next Friday.
Saturday night's main event.
Oh, is it Saturday night?
McIntyre Orton Saturday night's main event. Then you get Charlotte is in the back talking all this, and he's like, "Listen, I'm gonna put." She's like, "Is Tiffany gonna pick me for the title shot?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "But there's a 3-way dance for the tag belts, you and Bliss." So of course they had that little standoff, in which Bliss and Charlotte did end up winning. They beat the Secret Hervis and Beechin. I was kind of pissed off. I was like, "Come on, Beechin! Come on, Beechin!"
I wanted Beechin to win.
Oh man, I'm rooting for Beechin, bro. Then I have the tag team turmoil in the back.
Yeah,
where they're like, "Hey man, the White Six," and then they're like, "Oh well." But what I did like seeing is the Garzas, and I did like seeing them with the gold around over the shoulders
from the Triple A.
So I'm happy with that. I was like, yes. I was like, the Prophets had gold, and the Garzas got gold. I was like, I'm good with this. I'm quite content with this shot right here. So what happens there is it's one member of each of the 4 tag teams that are there.
44, yeah.
The Profits, DIY, the Garzas, and the Motor City Machine Guns. They're going to take on the Wyatt 6. If the Wyatts win, they get the Profits next week. Wyatts won, they get the Profits next week. So we have that match set up, and then Solo's promo and JC have that, and then we also get Priest Aleister Black in the back where the Priest is pissed at him. Yeah, he's pissed at him for having the truth, and then he's like, "Oh, always trying to be the nice guy." And Priest is like, "Whoa, who do you think is the nice guy?" Yeah. So I think this is set up for a feud for them, but we also find out that we're gonna get Truth versus Black next week. So next week we know we're getting that, and we know we're getting the tag team championships with the Profits. And it stinks, man. I wish the Profits would get some PLE love. I'm tired of them defending these belts on SmackDown every time on SmackDown. But I mean, I guess the same with the New Day because they haven't been on a PLE in a minute. They defend over there. But yeah, so that, and then Tiffany comes out and she calls out Trish Stratus as her opponent.
Yeah.
But you're waiting to get to Cargill at SummerSlam, unless Naomi comes in. But Naomi did come in and beat on Jade Cargill, hit it with the briefcase. So we have that for Evolution also. Yeah, I think that was about it. What was the last match of the night? Was it Faction? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think I'm missing something. Something.
No, it's a blur now.
but yeah, no, I mean it was okay. Oh no, the last match of the night was Fatu and Jimmy Uso versus Solo,
right? The tag match, yes.
And JC Mateo, in which Jimmy and Fatu won, and Fatu pinned Solo, which I think was a great nod and callback to the fact that it took Tonga Loa and Tala Tonga to help get the belt off of this fool. So I thought this was good. As like when they had the chance, he beat him clean. As soon as Mateo and Jimmy became non-factors and they went one-on-one, he won. Yeah. So that was it. Yeah. I mean, once again, he's throwing a lot of stuff. You're cleaning a lot of stuff. You're making things happen because now we get McIntyre Orton at Saturday night's main event. You're using some of these guys that you're not gonna be able to use at SummerSlam. You're gonna start using them here. So that should be good. But that was SmackDown in a nutshell. I can't think of anything else that really popped out.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. I think we pretty much covered it. And then if we missed anything, you probably already watched it. So nobody's at fault here, But
this is truly like the quickest recap we can do because we've been off for a week and change. And there was 4 things that we had to get through, and we did not want to take up everybody's time as much as we absolutely could have.
Yeah.
And delved into a few more things in depth. But in the fairness of everybody's time, we just kind of want to get through everything. And now that we have everything back up and running, website appears to be moving good. Connections are good. We're fine. We're solid. These should be coming a little more on time and back on a normal schedule. But yeah, that was a quick recap of a week and change. Yeah. Not even like a week. It was like an 8-day span.
Yes.
Like 10 days. I don't know. But I can't even count, man. But yeah, no. So yeah, it was good. Like I said,
Yeah.
PLE was there. The Cross Zayn thing still bothers me, but like you said, they're alluding to something more happening. But once again, Zayn is in this thing with Penta and Seth Rollins' crew, so who knows which way they're gonna go with it, especially with Jey Uso now involved in the mix. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my final thoughts on everything is basically it was a lot. It was a lot going on, a lot of filler, a lot of things. I guess the only positives is some people are shining that don't normally get to shine, which is awesome for them. Happy that SmackDown's back to 2 hours. So because it did flow a lot quicker and a lot better.
Right. We got to touch that it's back down to 2 hours. So,
yeah. But other than that, man, I think overall it's just a lot. And if I had to pick a product this week, I honestly was more, caught up with AEW this week than I was with all the stuff that was happening on WWE. So hopefully Monday Night Raw will redeem that and kind of get us back on track. Or I guess these are going to be the going home shows for Saturday night's main event. But but yeah, man, wrestling is wrestling. You have your ups, you have your downs, and at the end of the day, we're still gonna watch. So I'm okay.
Absolutely,
I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'll be okay.
It was good. It was good. I agree. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of filler. Like you have to get your stuff in. There's a lot of things coming down the pipe really, really fast. So get in, get out. That's fine. Let's burn through it. But SmackDown being down to 2 hours also once again alleviates some things. It'll cost a couple people, I'm sure, their TV time, screen time, things like that. But I still think you got some good things accomplished in the 2 hours that you had. I mean, you didn't have many matches, but you still got a lot of things accomplished. That's the thing, is you have to find the way to be able to balance like a good 3-4 matches. But it's tough because you want to give the matches, a good 15 minutes, a match, and then you got to factor that should be about 25 with a commercial. So if you do that, you really don't really have time to do a lot of other segments. So yeah, it's tough, but everything's fine. Just want to get into see what happens tomorrow on Raw, and then get into what happens at Evolution and SmackDown, and then Evolution. See what how they treat the all women's pay-per-view and the nonsense that is Trish Stratus returning. As much as I love Trish Stratus, it's like, come on, man. Yeah. It's exactly what you do for Goldberg or Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. Yeah,
let's pick you up, let's dust you off, let's burn you because we really don't have an opponent. We don't want to waste a feud anywhere. We don't want to have a short build. We don't want to have something that's so let's dust someone off, and because it was, oh yeah, she did eliminate her when she had the chance, and oh yeah, he did pick on Goldberg when he was in the audience, and okay, whatever. But it beats building a feud that's goes nowhere in 2 weeks and then you're done and annoyed with. So
yeah, agreed, man. Bueno, Primo, let's take this opportunity to go ahead and thank our listeners for, actually giving us a listen, a play, a follow, a like, a subscribe. Thank you for staying on as long as this episode. I think we hit like 45 minutes ish or so. Thank you for listening to the whole thing.
This is good. I mean, 45 minutes in four episodes of wrestling, 45 minutes. I think we did a damn good job.
Yeah, we did really good, man. But thank you to everybody, all the support, all the love, all the comments. Big shout outs to NWA. I was able to catch a local show that they just did in Tampa. Wild 23 matches. I had no idea. I thought
23 matches.
Well, here's what happened.
No wonder you're annoyed with.
yeah, you're right. But here's what happened. They're because of their Roku deal that they just signed, they had to film episodes. So I think each episode is gonna be like 3 to 4 matches. So they just did they banged out like 10 episodes, but all fun or all entertaining. Got to meet and hang out with some folks. Got to meet Jazz. I got to link up with Homicide. I got to meet Tiffany Nieves. I saw Aaliyah James again, and I got to shake hands with Rich Swann, man. That dude is awesome.
Yeah, Swanee.
Yeah, everybody was awesome, the whole event. So shout outs to NWA for putting out an amazing production. Can't wait to go to the next one. But other than that, man, I love wrestling. We love wrestling. I'm happy. We're going to be going to a lot more shows. And people, please, wherever area you're in the country, support your local wrestling independent circuits, man.
Yeah, man.
Those will be the best $20 you'll ever spend because it's fun, it's intimate, and you get to meet these people and just, get to know them and just be fans, man. So that's all I got to say about that.
Man. I remember like 20 years ago going with when I was working at the ESPN restaurant in Times Square. I went with a buddy of mine. He was a big wrestling fan, old 80s dude. This guy was great. He had OCD. He was like mad, proud about everything, but he knew his 80s stuff and he loved wrestling. And he was like, yo, man, he's like, let's go to the show out of Long Island. It was like $8 was the ticket. And it was, bingo hall. And I just remember being like, yeah, man, let's go. So like the two of us and our other homie who loved wrestling, this younger kid, Nate, the three of us went. By the way, rest in peace, John Ferrugio. We went to this little $8 show in Long Island, man, and it was the best time. We just had a little Jack Daniels in our pocket and stuff, and that was great. So yeah, definitely, if you get a chance to go out and watch some local wrestling, yeah, why not do it, man? It's a couple bucks, you'll have a good time.
Yeah, for sure, man. Bueno, primo, como siempre, I got nothing else to do, and or rather, nothing else to say. So,
nothing else to say.
You know what to do.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, as Eddie said, to everybody for the likes, listens. Primosforlife.com. Check us out on all facets of radio and podcasts. We appreciate, love everybody. We couldn't do it without you. We love doing it with you. So thanks for being there. And that being said, we will see you when we see you.
Yeah, man. We will see you when we see you. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.